Hello, good morning students of class 9. Today we will discuss the topic the Mughal Empire. There are two topics which we have to deal in this chapter, the sources and about the Akbar. So we will cover sources part today only, and about the Akbar we will discuss in the next class. So let's start the topic sources. Before starting the topic, I want to focus some light on Mughal Empire. Mughal Empire, it was established by Babur. It was established by Babur. And the period of Mughal Empire is in India is from 1526 to 1707. This is the period of Mughal Empire in India. So Babur established the foundation of Mughal Empire in India in 1526. There was the first battle of Panipat, in which Babur defeated Ibrahim Lodi in 1526, and thus Babur led the foundation of Mughal Empire in India. Babur and we can say the Mughal Empire, the Mughals actually took the advantages of political instability in India. Before Mughals, there was Sultanate period in which different dynasties ruled, and after Tughlaqs, the Sultanate period began to be weaker, and so the political instability started after Tughlaq dynasty. The last two dynasties were Lodi and Sayyid. So they did not last for long, and in this way, in 1526, Babur defeated Ibrahim Lodi in the first battle of Panipat, and thus he established Mughal Empire in India. With the establishment of Mughal Empire in India, the era of new polity began in India. We can say many developments also took place in the Mughal period, especially in the field of architects. There were many important monuments which were built during the reign of Mughal rulers. In paintings also, the Mughal did very well. In politics, there were some great rulers like Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan. They did good in our country. Their rule was very important for our country. Okay, so this way we can say that after establishment of Mughal Empire, a new polity, the era of new political system started in India. So we have just discussed some important points, some introduction towards the Mughal Empire. It was one of the largest empires built in India. It is one of the important empires of India, like in ancient period, the Guptas, the Moors, they were known. These empires are known in the history, and they did good for our country. In the same way, in medieval period, Mughal Empire, it also played an important role in the formation of our country, we can see. So now let's come to the topic that we are going to discuss today, the sources. To know about different rulers of the Mughal period, to know the reason of different rulers of Mughal period, what happened during what happened during their rule, which achievements, which developments took place in Mughal Empire, what kind of administrative system was there in Mughal period. All these things we come to know from the sources, and there are plenty of sources to know about this empire. So just take a look at these sources. There are two kinds of sources. Literary source, archaeological source. Literary sources and archaeological sources, these are the two sources from where we get the knowledge. So, literary sources, and the word expresses itself its meaning. The sources like books, foreigner accounts, poets, description, religious books, and secular books. These are the examples of literary sources. From these books, these are the called literary sources, and these are important sources from where we get the knowledge of Mughal period. So under this topic, we have to cover just about the Aine Akbari. Aine Akbari. Aine Akbari is the book. It was written by Abul Fazl. Aine Akbari, the book written by Abul Fazl. Abul Fazl was the court poet of Akbar. Abul Fazl lived during the reign of Akbar, and he wrote this book Aine Akbari on the life of Akbar, his about his administration, his victories, his policies. So, whatever the Akbar did in his life during his reign in India, all these kind of informations are given in this book. Aine Akbari There are 5 volumes in this book, and each volume deals with the different subjects. Okay, we can say what is the imperial household. The first volume deals with the imperial household, which kind of living standard was of the rulers. This part we call that imperial household subjects. Another thing, another volume which deals about the servants of the empire, of the kingdom, what they did, in what manner they assisted, they helped, this served actually to their rulers. Okay, the third volume deals with administrative system, military organization, which kind of administration was there, how they deal with different issues, who were the officials, what were their roles. Such kind of things are called administrative things. Military, it means the composition of army, how big the army was, where all kinds of soldiers were there or not, and we know that in an army at that time some soldiers were called cavalries, who used horses in the battles. There were many elephants. With the help of those elements, the fighters, the soldiers, fought war at that time. So this kind of composition of soldiers, it comes under military composition, which war they fought, in how brave the army was, how brave the soldiers were in their role. Such kind of subjects are also dealt in IN Akbari. So the next volume deals with the Hindu philosophy. Akbari also give information in his book towards the Hindu philosophy, because we all know that in India the Hindus were in majority, and in medieval period the rule of Muslims began. That's why we call the medieval period as Muslim period also, and ancient as Hindu and modern as English. So when the rule of Muslim was started in India in medieval period, how the Mughal rulers managed the majority, what was their approach towards the Hindu community, and we know that Akbar, he was very much religious in the sense he was not strict, he did not strictly follow his religion. Religious means he gave respect to the all religions. He was tolerant to each religion. If I am religious, if I am a true religious people, it means that I am second, according to me. To me, every religious group is important, and I should give respect to all religious people. So, and Abul Fazl wrote Ain-e-Akbari on the life of Akbar. So, what was the approach of Akbar towards Hinduism? It was very important part in the life of Akbar, and this important subject is also mentioned by Abul Fazl in Ain-e-Akbari. The fifth volume deals with deals with various topics like what were the policies, in what ways the ruler Akbar used to rule his empire, what were his policies towards the citizens, which kind of facilities he provided to their citizens. So all such kind of information related to Akbar, related to his reign was was described in Ain-e-Akbari. So we can know about the Mughal Empire, about the life of mainly the Akbar through Ain-e-Akbari. And we all know why we are dealing the literary source on the Ain-e-Akbari, because one of the greatest ruler of Mughal Empire was Akbar, and that's why in our topic this part, this section is included, and the other things have been eliminated from the subject, from the topic, because of Corona. So literary source Ain-e-Akbari we have just completed. Now come to the archaeological sources. What is archaeological source? There are many examples of archaeological sources like coins, like paintings, like artifacts, pots, jewelry, buildings, monuments. These are the examples of archaeological sources. So, in this topic, we have to cover today the monuments only. There are many examples of archaeological sources, but out of those examples, we have to discuss only the monuments. Monuments also says us about the rule, about the ruler, about the empire, about the kingdom, that who built the, suppose you are going to Delhi and there you saw the Taj Mahal, Red Fort, Jama Masjid. When you will see those monuments, those big buildings, which are the pride of our nation, we can say, the question will come into your mind that who built this monument, in which period it was built. So, if such type of questions are coming into your mind, the answers of these questions will give you the knowledge about the rulers, the kingdoms, the empires. That's why we call it a source to get the information about history. So we have to deal some of the monuments which are very important, like Taj Mahal. Taj Mahal, it was built by the ruler Shah Jahan. It is located at near Yamuna River. Taj Mahal, it was built by Shah Jahan. It is located in Agra. At the bank of river Yamuna. It is one of the 7 wonders of the world. It is one of the 7 wonders of the world. So it says the architectural supremacy of Mughal Empire. They built, one of the kings, Shah Jahan, he built Taj Mahal and it became one of the wonders of the world. So we can just imagine how they were efficient on making the buildings, how beautiful their style was, so that it became one of the wonder. Okay, so Taj Mahal, Agra, Yamuna, Shah Jahan. It took several years. In many years, Taj Mahal was built. In 1631, it was started and it was completed in 1653. So how long years it took in its completion? Shah Jahan made this monument in the memory of his wife Mumtaz Mahal. Shah Jahan loved his wife very much, and we can also say that Taj Mahal is the symbol of love. And how it became a wonder, we can say that if you love truly to anything, to anyone, and the outcome, the result of it will definitely bigger. So Shah Jahan loved his wife very much, and this reflects from the building Taj Mahal. If we do something with great passion, if we love our subject, if we love a study, then automatically we will be devoted towards it. We will put our best in it, and surely the result will be outstanding. So we can say the effort that Shah Jahan put, the result when it came out, we all know that now it is one of the 7 wonders of the world. It is made from white marbles. One factual thing about the Taj Mahal, the center dome is of height of 56 meters, and there are 4 other domes at its corner. So this monument tells us about the Mughal Empire, that one of the king who was Shah Jahan built this. In this year it was started and in this year it was finished. So this also gives us information about Mughal Empire. Now let's go to the second monument. Jama Masjid. Jama Masjid. It was built during 1650 to 56, and it is the biggest mosque of India. It was also built by Shah Jahan. Taj Mahal was also built by Shah Jahan. Jama Masjid was also built by Shah Jahan. In 1650 to 56 it was completed, and it is the biggest mosque of India. Many people could gather in its splendid hall, and a lot of people could offer their prayer to their Allahs. So this part we have done. It also gives information about the Mughal Empire, that who was the ruler who built the masjid, when it was built. So this also gives the information. The last one. Red Fort, 1639 to 1648. 1639 to 1648. Once again, the same ruler. Who? Shah Jahan. Taj Mahal, Jama Masjid, and the last one is Red Fort. Red Fort is also built by Shah Jahan, and from 1639 to 1648 it also took lots of time. It is built by using red sandstone and marbles are also used to make it. So that's why the color is red, and that's why the name is Red Fort. It's the massive building of India, and the historical importance of Red Fort in Indian history is great. Okay. The two important facts about this top Red Fort is the western gate of Red Fort is called Lahori Gate. It is also situated in New Delhi. Jama Masjid was also situated in New Delhi, and Taj Mahal just at a distance from Delhi at Agra, the same. So red sandstone marbles were used to make it. That's why it is called a Red Fort. And its southern gate is called Delhi Gate, and its western gate is called just I said, I am just skipping from mind. The western gate is called Lahori Gate, and the southern gate is called Delhi Gate. Okay. There is a big hall in the campus of Red Fort, Diwan-e Khas. Diwan-e Khas is a great hall where the meetings were organized and a peacock throne was kept inside the Red Fort. So some of the important things regarding Red Fort. It is built by red sandstone and marbles by Shah Jahan. It is located at Delhi from 1639 to 1648. It was made. Diwan Khas, a great hall, a big hall, is one of the feature of Red Fort. And what is the historical importance? That is the main thing. We all know that on Independence Day, our Prime Minister of India, he hoists flag from the ramparts of Red Fort. We have just celebrated 74th Independence Day this year, and our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he hoisted flag from there, and every year we hoist flag from the Red Fort. So these were the monuments, important monuments built by Mughal emperors, and these monuments show their greatness. These monuments show their achievements in the field of architect. The monuments were of Persian and Indian style. It was mix of Persian and Indian style. So this part we have covered the sources, literary sources and archaeological sources from where we get the knowledge, information about the Mughal Empire, Mughal period. In next video we will discuss it last part about the great emperor Akbar, his political life, his administrative works, all the important things related to his work we will cover in the next video. Till then, this was for today only. Thank you and have a nice day.